If you're talking about, at least the way the Old Testament describes wickedness and evil is, a righteous shot is one that hits the target. An evil shot is one that is off the mark. So if we're using that to describe what evil is, which I think is fair, at least for this discussion, because I can handle that definition. An excess of evil would mean you never hit the mark, whether that's in how you treat others, with how you drive on the freeways, with how you are in your personal life or your community. A deficiency of evil means you were just always walking the line. Always. If the speed limit says 55, you're going 55. And I don't care if there's 100 cars behind me. I'm going 55. And I'm going to help these people be righteous because they're evil drivers. They want to cross the line, and I'm not going to let them. And you end up causing a 200-car pileup because of your righteousness.
Does this mean that Jesus, arguably the most moral and ethical person, did not follow virtue ethics because he was over in the excess of righteous and in the deficiency of evil? And even non-Christians would argue that he was an excellent teacher and he taught individuals how to live.
You don't think Jesus ever let his hair down? Should we pause the recording for a minute while I go into the deeper teaching? You don't think Jesus ever did anything kind of naughty? You've obviously never read the Pseudepigrapha.
Which, for good reason, is not in the Protestant canon.
Well, again, who wants books now that might give you a different, more humane version of Jesus, right? Okay, let's just stick with the canon, the canonical books. What about Jesus beating up those people in the temple? That sounds a little rough, doesn't it?
Righteous anger.
Oh, righteous anger. Okay.
I know that.
I'm beating you in righteous anger. That's a good one.
I mean, we all say that it's righteous to kill someone in self-defense or righteous to stop someone when they're doing wrong, so...
Do you think racism is evil?
Yes.
Wasn't Jesus a total racist?
No. Opposite.
Am I the only one who has ever read the Bible?
He asked a Samaritan woman to give him water.
Uh-huh.
For a Jew, that's the opposite of racism. That's as far
Yeah, what did he tell the Syrophoenician woman when she said, "Please come heal my daughter"?
Children first.
No, worse than that. It is not fit to give the children's meat to dogs. No, Jesus would never say that.
What's it saying?
And do you know her response? She said, "But even the dogs get to eat the crumbs from the master's table." Or is that not in the Bible? I'm sorry. So, I don't know. By our standards of this, I think maybe even Jesus would have fallen on this scale. Sorry. I mean, he definitely would have been here. But there's a few things that make you kind of go, Well, I think that's all I'm going to say at this time. If you want more, come visit me in private. Okay. So, what do you guys think?
I have a question.
Yes.
If someone is being evil or ignorant, how would this virtue punish or handle that situation?
Oh, you educate people. Bad people are ignorant people who need to be educated, not criminals who need to be punished. They're like sick people who need a physician, not like bad people that need a stick. Although sometimes a stick could educate people. It might give you a causal effect in your head that this sort of activity causes pain. But Aristotle was really big on education. Educate, educate, educate. Yes?
It seems like it doesn't matter how much you educate somebody, they won't be good. Going back to the example of the evil genius, if somebody is a genius and knows way more than anybody in their society and they're still evil, doesn't that mean if you educate everybody, they're still going to be evil?
Sure, but there's going to be less. No one's going to be completely educated to where they never make a bad mistake, besides God Almighty himself, who knows all. But for humans, we're finite, we're fallible, we're going to get things wrong. But that we certainly can move from a deficiency of knowledge, trying to get towards that high-end level.
But can't you say that more knowledge can make people more evil?
No, not true knowledge.
What about the people that know something's wrong and they know what the consequences are going to be if they do it anyway? Because they'd rather have self-gratification.
Because they don't
need to educate them. They already know what's wrong. They're just choosing themselves over.
They don't really understand the consequences of their actions. If they did, they wouldn't do the action. And think about it in your own life. Think about some of the worst things you've ever done. And ask yourself, if I really would have known what was going to happen from my action, would you still have done it? I mean, I wouldn't. If I could have, like, do-overs, there's so many things I would change now that I know. But I didn't know. And I thought I could just...
What if you learned from that experience? Would you still?
That's good. Knowledge is good.
Would you still not do it? Because then you wouldn't have to learn.
Yeah, probably wouldn't do it next time. I hope not. Although sometimes we seem to keep pounding our head against the wall.
Well, what about Adam and Eve? They ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, but that knowledge didn't make them, that made them more evil, not less. Because it caused them to sin.
It made them more good, too.
What do you mean?
Because they weren't good or evil before that. They were just amoral.
I don't know. I think they were good. If they weren't evil, then they were good, right?
Well, I think good and evil comes as a pair. I don't think you get to have one without the
What
other.
about God? He's all good. He's not evil.
Really? I haven't browsed through the Old Testament much lately, have you?
It depends on whose standard you're talking. Like, God's standard is different than man's standard. So if we think that God is evil, it's just because our standard is wrong.
God says in his own book that I bring evil on whom I bring evil and good on who I bring good.
But God also says his ways are not our ways. I mean, our ways are not his ways, and his ways are... He goes into detail about how his ways are above and that we're not able to fully comprehend his ways. So you can say that his good, we're just not knowledgeable enough to understand why he's good. So even the evil acts could really be good. We just don't have the knowledge.
You're going to make me pass out. Okay. If you want to continue this discussion, I would be happy to do it, but you're probably going to have to come to my medieval philosophy class, where I will explain to you why God is beyond good and evil. Okay. And I think I'm going to wrap that up for today. We can do some more of this whenever we meet again.